Board of Commissioner meeting is now called to order. We ask Reverend Evans to please lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, we are truly grateful, Lord, for your grace and mercy that allows us to be here tonight. Father, I just pray that your Spirit be in this room, that you give us wisdom and guidance, Father, to take care of the business that is at hand. Bless the leaders of this great town, Lord, and bless all of the citizens. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. You would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. I have a couple of important announcements. March 31st, the deadline for mitigation sign-up. March 31st is the deadline for mitigation sign-up. Remember, there are three options: elevation, reconstruction, or buyout. The deadline is March 31st. April 15th is the deadline for accepting applications for distribution of donated funds. That's for our senior citizens 65 and over. April 15th is the deadline. May 28th, some good news. The reopening of our Dollar General, May 28th. We have every fourth Monday our Board of Commissioners meeting. I ask for the board's permission to move it next month to April the 25th, which is a Tuesday. I have another meeting on the 24th. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
We properly moved and seconded that we have our next board meeting on Tuesday, April 25th at 7 o'clock p.m. Other questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. This time we'll move to public comments. Mr. Ed Bridges.
Good evening, I'm Ed Bridges, 402, Old Avenue, Princeville. I'm concerned about the money that Governor Roy Cook said that the county would get $159 million to be divided among four counties: Wayne County, which it goes for, Robeson and Fayetteville, Cumberland County, Edgecombe County. If you divide it, that money, something like $35 million, and give all the four counties the same amount. And the county would still be left $19 million to do other things, plus the $4 million they already got. And this is given under the community block grant fund. No matching fund, no payback or anything. That needs to be considered. All right. Now, if that is done, Mr. Mayor, the Board of Commissioners, you could do some things that need to be done under the elevation and reconstruction and the other thing that they had to sell out. All three of those things could happen. And the deputy principal go again, look at solving the problem. You can have all these meetings with all the state people, all the county people, all the leaders of the community, and doing that, it ain't worth 2 cents if you don't do something about it. You see what I'm saying? Solve the problem. What is the problem? It's water. All right, to build a new bypass over there, Mr. Mayor, and part of the dike is a barrier. Ain't that something? Water to come right in to that way. Go that way some. Good, extend the dike. Go north, that's going east. And you still would be among the woods there, not out against the highway, instead of exiting off. You could come over here and go north, do something past the city limit in Shallow. Also, you got Shallow Road there. I understand that you're going to be giving some lots there, 23, from Carlisle and 30 acres from Dawson. And where's Dawson? I asked the people don't know where Dawson is located. I can tell you where it's located. Go past my place of business on 64 East and get to Milton Chapel Church. Make a left right there on Shallow Road. And pass where Slave Master Daniel Old house is still there. On the right is, the road. That's what it is. Now, I don't know where Carlisle called me. Somebody tell me where Carlisle, they supposed to give you 23 acres, but Dawson's land is 30 acres down there. And you could go up already level to Shallow Road and go right and go right to it before you get near the highway. Cemetery is right there, and a new church, Princeville there. You do that, so all of this money and everything like that gets a meeting to tackle the problem. Everybody knows what the problem is, the water. Come over and reconstruct, and FEMA here now haven't done anything as much as they did for the flood in 1999. It destroyed the whole town. Every house over there went on the water except the flood. Tell you what, every house. Oh, now, in 6 months' time after the committee was formed, and I served on that committee down at St. Stephen Baptist Church, they had trailers down there, and we asked for $34 million. You know what we got? 13 from trailer thing. And came in and look. All right, now, it's up, money available. That's the county there, they're going around the common, for we just see always in 6 months. And Princeville was back on the feet in 6 months. After in 6 months, ain't nothing been done hard, but move a single trail out in Long Pine, used to be Long Pine, it's Pine Valley now, so you can stay temporarily until you move back to your house. Elevation, how much elevation? What is it? Elevation, that you want to raise the house with that or reconstruction. What is it? I know it would be higher in some places due to the contour of the land. Yes, nothing wrong with having a diet protection. Look at New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans is below the flood level in Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, all around the Gulf Coast there. Get some committee where you know something about the town. Been there. I've been there 97 years, still there.
Okay.
And some committees, so,
Thank you, Mr. President.
I know what happened to 2 minutes.
Okay.
I know what happened to 2 minutes. But you let them run over.
I
Instead
did.
of you minutes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, solve the problem.
No, sir.
Stop it.
We're working on it.
And at the end of the year, the people coming in and tell you to cut off, the state cut off some of the roads and abandon the part of the dock.
Right.
When the dock was put there in after 1958 flood, after 1980, but it took about 5 years to build it. In 1965, the paper said 67, 1965, it was complete. Was no more flooding in Princeville for 35 years. Then, now, under the 99 flood, in 6 months, they were back. Now, it's been 6 months, I don't see nothing work done.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Perkins?
Good evening. My name is Dearly Perkins, 123 Neville Street. Mr. Bridges saw the stop on my number here tonight. I want to ask a direct question, and I just need an answer because it's really bothering me. I want to know if the council has talked to the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA about fixing the problem. I just need an answer.
Yes, ma'am. You have.
Are they going to do anything about it?
We're supposed to be putting a meeting together, I think, next week with FEMA, State NCDOT, and the Army Corps of Engineers.
That's something that I think the council needs to push. Pause. Don't fix the problem. It's going to be another problem. The other thing is, I want to know why it's been 6 months and you all have not worked on cleaning out those ditches and the debris. Some of this stuff should be FEMA reimbursable. Why you all have not gone out and dealt with those ditches, clean them out. I know there's some other things need to do, some need to be capped out, but at least you could have capitalized on FEMA reimbursement for some of the stuff. I see all around the county in Tarboro, they're fixing every pothole that was there before the flood, that there after the flood, Tarboro in the county. But Princeville, I have not seen not one iota of thing, and this stuff is FEMA reimbursement. So what, why?
We're working with FEMA to move forward with that process. The issue is we go in and clean out the ditches. There's no way to stop the water from backflowing through the ditches. That is the reason why Southern Terrace did not flood, because those ditches were not cleaned out and the water wasn't able to get back through those ditches. So when you clean those ditches out now, you're gonna have to put some type of gating device in there to control the flow. So you're gonna have.
Yeah, I know that. So why is it in 6 months' time, you all have not started the process so that hurricane season comes up in June? Why you all have not started the process? FEMA, I mean, at least you could have been working on project worksheets to get all this stuff started, get it on paper. FEMA's not gonna be here all the time, so project worksheet, why you all have not done a single iota in Princeville in 6 months?
We just completed the project worksheet. We're getting to move forward with the first phase of damage. The second phase of damage will be the alternate scopes of work, which will address that. Additionally, you see all the maps around you. That has been the main concern. Princeville has 2 maps in which it describes 2 identifications of Princeville. In '99, this wasn't done. But in '99, as Mr. Bridges so eloquently pointed out, the dike was not protecting the town. No one did an assessment to find that out in '99. So when it flooded this time, we had to do an assessment. So now we know it's not protected. So now you have to have an organized plan as to how you're gonna go about fixing the town. So, like I said, we just finished the first phase, we're going to finish the second phase. We're gonna get clarification from the council tonight to vote on the elevations. The maps are gonna be what they are, which I'll discuss later. So that has to be done. So all of that would have had to be done. The reason why you probably able to move forward in '99, you didn't really address the mapping of the town, which that had to really be addressed first, so you would know where to start with all the construction.
But within 6 months, have you not been able to do anything? You know, okay, what you gonna do with all the storm debris already in the ditches? What you gonna do come hurricane season? Within 6 months, but if you just do this, because it seems like, this is preying on my heart real hard, that's what's happening. If you could just show us a little tidbit of what you've been doing, what you're going to do, I will make it my time to come and sit down and talk to anybody just to listen, because it's preying on my heart that, and all of this time, 99 was a different time. I mean, 99 was a different time, because it was the oldest town population, I'd like to be honest, and everybody came in and started doing things, and I understand this, but within 6 months, I understand too, that something should have been done about Princeville. So if you would just show us, just a little bit.
Thank you very much. Carlin Hill.
I said on 212 Monday Street, and then Monday, I came back, they had put a FEMA trailer on 2 houses down from mine. And I wonder why, I thought I had asked them to put one on my lot, and they didn't do it, so why that person got one on their lot?
Call town hall tomorrow morning.
All right.
Mildred Staten. Mildred Staten, any comments?
No comment?
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know, if she was not, her house was not damaged, can she still get her house elevated?
She can apply.
Yeah.
Yes. Calvin Sherrod.
Now, so about the last 2 months, we've been trying to push the issue by running that ease out from Steve
through the town of Princeville. And I don't think the people in Princeville want that raw sewer coming through the town of Princeville. And they got problem with the smell in the summertime when the lift station comes through. It throw off all that debris and smell. It kind of want to run that ease out through the town. Run it through on Daniel Street. You come from Speed anyway. Run it on the Daniel Street. Run it through Tarboro. Don't run it through the town of Princeville. So we got a little power at now. And that pipeline gonna come right through Mr. Bullet Yard. You're on the edge. You're gonna hit the light and make that right. But I don't think we need that in the town of Princeville. We're gonna pipe bust, we're gonna tear the streets up and so forth. And that would be the best thing they could do is run that line from Speed to Daniel Street. And that's been on my mind for the last couple of months. And I know you've been studying trying to push, but you got to look at a lot of things besides pushing and find out what kind of disaster might happen in the future of our town. And kind of take that consideration in the people. And let that be a public hearing, not just that vote. Get that public output by that before you try to put that. That's it.
Thanks, sir. Megan Stevens,
My question already asked.
thank you. Dorothy Wiggins,
My name is Darlene Wiggins, 206 Meadow Street. And my question is, the money that was donated to Princeville citizens, why are y'all only giving it to people that are senior citizens 65 and older? And then you go in there and then you still kick out the ones that had system enough to have flood insurance. They are not eligible. And to me, that was wrong. If I don't get a penny of the money, it's wrong because it's that citizen, not only senior citizen. I love my senior citizen, but the money was not only for senior citizen, it was for the citizens of Princeville. And if you thought it was enough money to give each individual, you should have put it to something that would benefit every citizen in Princeville.
point well taken, thank you. Jackie Hayward,
Good evening.
good evening.
My question is, what are y'all gonna do about the HUD people? They was promised a trailer when we had a meeting with FEMA, now they took it back. So how are y'all gonna handle this situation? We gotta get out of the hotels, and nobody has a voice, and it don't seem like they care. So can I get an answer?
We met with HUD officials today about that. I'm not sure which unit you represent.
Pioneer Court, apartment 431,
Pioneer Court. That's what we-
right behind St. Luke Church.
We met today with D, I don't know the last name, D Pioneer Court, and she stated, I think she said that 16 individuals did have housing. But I told her, I said, but I'm betting you that there's somebody out there that's not having it. So if you don't have it, you can come see me
Well, I
tomorrow.
already met with them last Thursday. It had already been promised and everything.
No,
But
no.
now when you talk to them, they're giving you the rundown.
I understand exactly what you're talking about. I had to take over 2 individuals' cases myself just to make sure we run it to ground. So just come see me tomorrow, we'll fix it.
Ms. Hayes, state your name and your address, please.
My name is Jacqueline Petaway Haywood, and I live at 431 Pioneer Court, Princeville.
Okay. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any additions or deletions to the agenda? I will entertain a motion to move from new business, letter C, to the board of presentation. Second. Been properly moved and second that we move from the new business to letter C to before the presentation. Are there questions? All in favor, please vote as aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. A Motion to defer the consent agenda to the next month's meetings when we have the minutes to review.
Second.
The proper move and second that we move the consent agenda to next month when we have time to review the minutes. Are there questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Now we'll go ahead with the letter C.
Mayor, Town Council, this is a resolution whereas the town is thanking Sheriff Knight for his service as sheriff. And the action requires that we approve this resolution as read. It's a resolution of the appreciation of Sheriff James Knight. Whereas James Knight, a native of Edgecombe County, began his career with Edgecombe County government in 1984 and has held several positions including detention officer, deputy sheriff, detective, air crime prevention sergeant. And whereas James Knight served as the sheriff of Edgecombe from 1997 to 2017 with dignity and pride. And whereas Sheriff Knight served the citizens of Edgecombe, including Princeville, North Carolina, with love and dedication and respect. And whereas Sheriff Knight has received numerous awards and accolades of his exemplary service to one. Whereas Sheriff Knight represented Edgecombe County, North Carolina, and the nation as a member of different boards and honorable and respected commanders. And whereas Sheriff Knight during his tenure implemented programs that will unite the community regardless of age, race, culture, or religious background. And therefore, on this day, on this 27th day of March 2017, as mayor of, as Daniel Gerald, reading for the mayor of the town of Princeville, on behalf of the governing body and the citizens of Princeville, North Carolina, we hereby congratulate Sheriff James Knight on his retirement. May he have continued success as he pursues another chapter in his life story.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution as written?
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and second that we approve the resolution congratulating Sheriff James Knight on his retirement. On that question. All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. And while we're on the subject of sheriff, we'd like to recognize our new sheriff of Edgecombe County, Sheriff Cleet Atkinson, and in the back. Thank you for being here. Next item on the agenda is presentation by our county manager, Mr. Eric Evans.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and to the members of the board, all those present. If I may, I'd like to bring a copy of this. Thank you for allowing me to have a little bit of time to address the board tonight. What you have coming before you is an update on Hurricane Matthew recovery efforts from the perspective of the county. I certainly won't go through all of these point by point, but I do want to highlight a few of these concerns because I think not only will it be of interest to you, but probably some of your citizens here in the audience. So just quickly, I want to point out that the temporary direct housing program, which are the single wides that are being brought in to provide temporary housing for those affected by the flood. So far, 92 families have been approved for that program. Our office has written 55 permits, so that includes some that people are already living in, some that are on site being set up now, and some that will soon be set up. So that's been a busy program, and we're glad to see those come in. Of course, we all like to see them come in much quicker, but we're happy to see the ones that are here. Also, the Transitional Shelter Assistance Program, or TSA. At the height of this program, there were over 300 Edgecombe families that were participating in this program. In most cases, the families are staying in hotels, as someone mentioned tonight. That number is down to 81 as of the last report that I got. We have a social worker, she's a retired social worker from our DSS that we brought back to work with some of the clients or some of the people in that program alongside the FEMA TSA team that are over at the Old Health Department building in the same building that your temporary town hall is located. Also located in that same building are the state has approved for HUD certified housing counselors to deploy throughout the state in affected areas. We have two that are working here in the county. I know one is here tonight, Ms. Angela Mallory. They are out there in the same location. So we encourage folks to go out and take advantage of their assistance, whether they are TSA clients or not, if they just need some help in finding their way through the maze of recovery assistance. We encourage them to take advantage of, and they're pretty much there, regular business hours, Monday through Friday. Under the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, as you can see, and I'm sure you're already aware of this, there was an application period for this first round of HMGP hazard mitigation. And you can see in this report that over 402 Edgecombe residents applied for one of the three options that are under this program. You can see that's been spelled out the numbers for the town of Princeville, the town of Tarboro, as well as the areas outside of those two towns. So this is the first round. They call it the expedited round. And as you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, earlier in your announcement, Emergency Management has until this Friday to take all of those applications they've received, to process them and forward those to FEMA to be eligible for this first expedited round. There will be other applications that will be accepted. The second round, the deadline for those applications to get to FEMA is May the 1st. So that means those applications need to have time to go from the county to the state for them to do what they do with them, then to package those applications and then up to FEMA. So the county, for those residents outside Tarboro or Princeville, we have set our deadline for April the 21st. So certainly it'll be up to the town as you decide if you want to put a cutoff date. I do recommend that you give yourself some time so that tax cards, that kind of information can be gathered, sent to the state, and then they will have time to submit the applications to FEMA. I also just want to highlight some of the faith-based organizations that have been working in ever since the hurricane first hit. Certainly a number of local churches were instrumental in, some provided space for sheltering, some did donation distribution, some did a number of things. We also have some larger faith-based organizations that are still here in the county. You can see in the report that I gave you that Samaritan's Purse has committed to building 20 new homes for those affected by the flood. They have so far identified 5 of the 20 families that are going to receive that assistance. The United Methodist Church, they have set up operations out at Old Health Department building, in the main building just in front of where your town operations are. They have set that up as a place where they can house volunteers that come in for them to sleep, them to prepare meals, for them to congregate, and then to go out during the day and do work. They have had groups from all over. They had a group from California that was here just the last couple of weeks. They have made an at least 2-year commitment to be here in the county, and they say that they could be here longer. So we're certainly grateful for them being here. Also, the Mennonites, they were originally based out of, or had their base of operations out at Franklinton Center at Bricks, but they've since moved up to First Baptist Church here in Tarboro. They have approximately 15 homes that are currently under renovation right now, and they're making, they haven't said, but they're making a long-term commitment. They basically have said they are willing to be here as long as it takes. So we're very happy for all these faith-based organizations doing what they are doing. Planning, you can see that we are, as well as the town, has been under some planning efforts. The state has asked all of the counties that have been affected to prepare a plan, a recovery plan, a resiliency plan. That is, how can we not only just build back, but how can we build back better prepared for the future storm, heaven forbid. We have been assigned a consultant that's working with a lot of counties, and we've had 2 of our 3 required public hearings. We will have our 3rd on April the 11th. And I know that the town has been assigned also a group from, I believe it's UNC Chapel Hill, that's doing something similar. But we see that there's opportunity for there to be, some cross conversation between what the town is looking at doing. I know Mr. Gerald has been to our meetings, and so we certainly appreciate that. So that's pretty much as far as the hurricane recovery update from the county's perspective that I wanted to share. And I appreciate Mr. Gerald does come to, we have a weekly, what we call a recovery team meeting, sort of a staff meeting where we just get together, roll up our sleeves and talk about some of these issues. And he usually attends, and when he cannot, he usually sends one of his staff members to attend on his behalf. So we appreciate that. The other thing I just wanted to mention quickly, I know that you have on your agenda tonight about annexation. I guess, so first of all, I want to say our commissioners have not discussed this, they have not taken an official position, but I feel comfortable in saying, as the manager, that we are supportive of this. I think that is a wise decision to consider how you can annex some adjacent land to help backfill on some potential loss to your tax base as a result of the buyout, as a result of people just simply deciding to move away or whatever it might be. I think that is a wise decision. Only thing I would just ask that you consider is we don't, as the county, we don't do annexation. And it's not something that I have a lot of experience in. But I would just caution you to be careful and make sure that you follow the proper procedures. It's the way that it typically works. The county had some dealings with an annexation to a piece of property that our Economic Development Board owns just outside of Rocky Mount. And so that board wanted to have that annexed inside the Rocky Mount city limits so that when a new business client came to potentially buy that land, those services will already be available at the in-city limits rate. So I assisted that board with going through that process. So you just need to make sure that the owner of the property, at whatever time you decide to annex, makes that request of the town and not of the county. The county would not play a role in that process. But again, I certainly cannot speak for the Board of Commissioners, but from my perspective as the county manager, I think pursuing annexation, pursuing new housing development is a very wise decision. I think now, because of the flood, it's a horrible thing for Edgecombe County to have to go through twice in 17 years. It's a horrible thing for the town of Princeville to have to go through twice in 17 years. But at least now you have a lot of resources that are at your disposal. There are things that you can do now with these resources that we never would be able to do outside of Hurricane Matthew. So any way that my office can help, we are certainly welcome to, not just me, but any of my staff. If there's anything that we can ever do to help you in your recovery process, we're here to serve. Thank you
So much. Other questions from the board? Let me ask one question about the 5 of the 20 homes that Samaritan Persons built. Do you have an idea what the qualifications are?
I don't, they have some, I know they are specifically looking to work with Princeville residents, not any residents outside of town of Princeville. They do have some qualification process. I don't know the specifics of that, but certainly I can get that and be happy to share with the board. Gentleman, a representative from Samaritan's Purse, typically attends our weekly meeting, and he shares with us on updates of that. So I can certainly find out and pass that along to the bank.
So the residents just call them?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me say this, let me back up. My understanding is they started working on identifying the families from the families that their first wave of volunteers that were doing the tear outs, they started identifying families working from that list. But I'm certain, I would imagine that they would be interested if there are other families who'd like to be considered, they'd be happy to do that. So I'll be sure to pass that information on, at least the name and contact information.
One more question that I have. Mr. Bridges brought up some money that came in to the county. Can you address that for us?
Sure. So the state of North Carolina did receive a community development block grant for disaster recovery from the federal government. I think the total block grant is $198 million, Mr. Bridges. They did state in the press release about that of the $198 million, there are 4 or 5 counties that the lion's share of that is going to go to, over $150 million of that. So my understanding now is those funds, which they have some limits as to the kind of things that they can be used for. The state has not yet decided how they're actually going to apply that money. I think what they're waiting for, and there's some representatives here from emergency management that can answer much better than I can. I think what they're waiting for now are these plans that we're working on. They want to see what the real needs are. They want to see what needs exist that there are not already funds in place to address. And so I think once we get these plans done and up to the state, they're going to use that, number one, to help decide how they apply that $198 million. As well, the governor, when he was here a couple of weeks, I guess a week before last, he did mention in his visit that there is a plan at some point to go back to the General Assembly and ask for an additional appropriation. They've already appropriated $200 million. They plan to go back. They're waiting to see what that price tag is. And so that's why these plans are so important. We had 2 public hearings already because they want to hear the input from the citizens, and they've gotten good input. There will be our 3rd one on April the 11th at 6 o'clock. It will be in this room. And so invite any citizen, please come out and hear what some of the projects are. So they have 4 areas: housing, infrastructure, economic development, and environment. So those are the 4 main categories. So they're looking for projects under all 4 of those categories. For example, if the town is considering some type of housing development just outside of the town that they can annex in, that would be something they will put under housing. So they're going to take this plan from Edgecombe, take the plan from the town of Princeville, take the plan from all these other states, package them in some way, and then share those with the government. And then they'll decide then how to use that money.
Thank you so much. Any other questions?
One other question. Along either you or our town manager, or maybe even one of the FEMA representatives, tell us where your process is with the temporary housing. How can we move forward to get the temporary housing staged or set up for the ones that are displaced?
So I'm probably not the best one to answer that because I don't know all of the details of how FEMA determines how someone is eligible for a temporary house and those who are not. I know right now they are continuing to process applications for those who call, register with FEMA, and requested temporary housing. They are continuing to discuss with people. We have staff people that were affected, and I hear from them about their conversations with FEMA and that type of thing. But I'm not very familiar with the details as to how they determine someone to be eligible and someone else not to be eligible.
We were talking about today at the meeting, and there does seem some variation upon that. We're supposed to be meeting with Living to get clarification on how they determine that. But what's limiting the temporary housing is finding a place where you don't have to raise the trailer above 66 inches. So those are the factors.
And speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned that. So you know that a lot of the homes that have been brought in have been going in Pine Valley. And when they first started bringing them in, this advisory base flood elevation map had not been brought to the county. Since then, it has. And so now the contractor that's sitting those houses up, he has that. He's aware that he has to elevate the homes. And in fact, so he had a surveyor to come out and plot elevation points all throughout that mobile home park. And so if you go out there now, there are some, the more recent ones are actually elevated. You'll see them elevated. I will say that I guess some of those are not as high as I had envisioned them to be, honestly. But I'm sure for some folks it will cause some problem if you have limited mobility and that type of thing. But there are some mobile homes, temporary mobile homes that are out there that have been elevated.
Mr. Juror, are we having the same problem over there at Forest Haven?
It's the same issue as,
Same issue.
it's the elevation issue. First, they wouldn't put it in there, and then they came back with you have two maps. So you have the AE flood zone map, which that's what FEMA is using, and you have the X zone map here, that's what the state is using, and that's the confusion. So, long story short, we're having to raise the trailers per wherever your location is based on the height of your property. So if you have a low-lying property, you have to raise your house higher. If you have a high-lying property, you may not have to raise it as high. So that's why sometimes you say, why my neighbor got one, my neighbor get one. It's contingent upon how high your topography of your property. So that is what so trying to do.
Thank you. Mr. Jerry, got a question again.
We're about to finish. Mr. Evans, or about to finish? Mr. Evans, sorry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry.
Mr. Evans, I have a question, and I put it before you leave the floor, please. I think it would be in the interest of a lot of people. How will this money come down to Princeville? Will they have to spend money beforehand and then requisition it from the county, or are they gonna give so much per township or what? I mean, I would like to know.
We don't know yet. They have not made that decision. Now, I will say typically, when state or federal grants come to a county or a town, typically they are on a reimbursement basis. We pay the money out, we get reimbursed. Now, sometimes the state will make special provisions for some municipalities that just don't have that capacity to do that. All of those things are yet to be seen. They've not made those decisions.
Well, let me ask you another question. I don't let you leave it alone again. Do you think that Princeville would have made more progress in these 6 months than we have seen if they had only asked federal government to send someone specifically down here to work with housing for within the town of Princeville? And then a state person to work with the town manager? Then what would be the progress that we have made and have seen?
That's a
I feel
reasonable
like,
question. I don't think.
Right, and it's kind of seasonable to be seen that, there's too much for one individual to handle. Okay?
I understand, and I'm certainly not going to speak for the town, but I would imagine that, I know that the town, just there are FEMA representatives that come to help us, there are some that are helping them. I'm sure if they need some additional help, they can ask for that. But what I will say this, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
So I first started working in the county in December 2001. My first job here was Hurricane Floyd recovery. And so all of us are basing everything on our experience from Hurricane Floyd. And in those years, a lot of things are different. They're just different. And honestly, it's hard for me to adjust because I was so used to, for example, I was so used to with temporary housing for them to just bring those travel trailers out by the dozen quickly. But FEMA changed that some years ago, and it's just different now. A lot of things are different. The buyout program, after Hurricane Floyd, only those who were in the 100-year floodplain, only those whose homes were substantially damaged, that is more than 50% of the value or more than 4 feet of water, only those could apply for the buyout. This time they're allowing pretty much everybody who's interested to apply, and even they allow people with vacant lots to apply. Now, whether they end up in the final approved grant application, I'm not sure. So it's been a hard adjustment for me as well because, unfortunately, we've been through it one time before and we kind of set our sights on how we did things after Floyd, but things are just different now. It's been kind of difficult for us to adjust. This is a hard thing, there are a lot of moving parts to all of this. Even us who we have pretty sizable staff, it's difficult for us to manage all of these things that are coming at us all at once and still do the stuff that we have to do on a daily basis, right, Mr. Gerald? These things, the normal day-to-day things don't stop just because we're in hurricane recovery mode. So I guess I can't really, in fairness, answer that question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is,
Mr. Gerald,
You've indicated we have two different maps,
Right.
and I'm aware of those maps, but how close are we to resolving the confusion and using which map so that these people will know what to do with their houses?
Okay. What we're doing tonight, I'm gonna read to you, what we're gonna talk about is the base flood elevation. And what we have two maps, one Zone X and one the AE flood zone. The AE flood zone shows where the dike was taken down and 64 was put in. So that allows the water to get into the town. So it's twofold. This map is gonna eventually change to that map. So you're gonna have to do something to mitigate those damages. Now, we're also meeting with Libby Turner and other officials, DOT and the U.S. Army Corps to see what kind of relief we are gonna get on the part of the dike that was taken down, which was taken down in '99. So that's when it went down. So, in moving forward, what we're trying to do is accept the base flood elevations. Now, I recommend that we don't accept the recovery map because we don't ever call them maps anyway. The maps are usually called by state emergency management, which they're calling Zone X. I'm not trying to change any of the maps. One, if we change the maps, it may change your insurance premiums. But what we are doing is that we're trying to set the elevations of your house, and that's going to be the goal tonight.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing. Is a motion to open the public hearing on the base flood elevation level.
So moved.
The properly moved and second that we open the public hearing on base flood elevation level. Are there questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Ms. Perkins? Yeah.
Let me read it so everybody will know. Okay.
Told them that the last time.
Okay, we're gonna read the whole thing. It's pretty long. When we get to section B, you need to listen real carefully. Section B is where all the requirements are. We say, the town of Princeville flood damage ordinance shall be modified to incorporate and adopt the base flood elevation set by the state of North Carolina Emergency Management. The map is dated 12/12/2016 and an accompanying table with the base flood advisory elevations per lot and applying them to the area of Zone X, area protected by levee. These documents shall be adopted by reference. Now, the table can be found at Town Hall. We did not put the table out for public because it has people's addresses and we don't want anybody assuming their address identity fraud. But it is at Town Hall. If the lot does not have a base flood elevation level, town staff shall interpretate the advisory base flood elevation from the map and the nearest property. The language below shall be modified in Article 3, Section B, page 7 of the current flood prevention ordinance. So Section B, basis for establishing the special flood hazard. The special flood hazard areas are those identified under cooperating technical state agreement between the state of North Carolina and FEMA. This in FIS dated June 2nd, 2005 for Edgecombe County and associated with the FERN map, that's insurance maps. The panel included digital data as developed as a part of the flood insurance study, which are adopted by reference and declared a part of this ordinance. Future revisions to this flood study and digital flood insurance rate map panels do not change the hazard data within the jurisdiction of the town. The special flood hazard area will also include the area shown as protected by this map. These elevations will be considered the base flood elevation levels. that the base flood elevation levels are on the spreadsheet that is at Town Hall. So all owners, so this is section 1, this is what you need to pay attention to. All owners of single-family homes, to include pre-existing modular homes, trailers, well as stick-built homes, can be temporarily built back on grade to repopulate Princeville itself. Owners shall note using insurance funds or any other funds to repair structures at grade may prevent the use of other insurance uses, which may not be limited to elevating the structures. Owners should consult their insurer, lender, or financier. Section 2. However, all single-family homes, multifamily dwellings, as well as town-owned buildings will have to remain inhabitable for 18 months and build to the advisory base flood elevations set by the state of North Carolina Emergency Management. Section 3, this ordinance shall be added to the town's ordinances through amendment and will be available to the citizens of Princeville for review. This resolution is an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the peace, health, safety, and general welfare of this municipality and shall take effect of its earliest date by law. So what I'm asking, what I'm requesting the board to do is to not only accept the base flood elevations, but to require everyone to build to those elevations, both pre-existing and post.
Ms. Perkins?
Number-wise, tell us how. All of this is a little bit overwhelming, but number-wise, how high and what area? Is this the entire town?
It all kind of depends. It all kind of depends where you are situated, where your house is situated. Right. They may not have your exact address, but they're going to have an address adjacent to you. So anything in the downtown area around Town Hall, we know that water was 8 to 10 feet. We know that water was that high, so you may have to raise that high. Along where Mr. Bridges lives, the water didn't reach there, but the base flood elevation may require you to lift your house 2 feet. So it all depends upon where you are located.
Number-wise, you just said number.
Number-wise, when you go to Town Hall, you have a spreadsheet. It should have your address on it. It may not.
This is a public hearing, and you can't really discuss number-wise. Can't you tell us number-wise, though? And what streets?
Number-wise, we had an appetite, but number-wise.
Here you go, Mr. Chairman. 45 inches.
Okay.
Her address.
This is what your address is on. You can find, but I think you said you didn't see yours. So you have to take the closest or nearest adjacent address, and that is how high you would have to raise your house. It's all dependent upon where your house is in the town. The further out you get away from the river, of course, the lower your base flood elevations.
But what I'm saying, this is a public hearing, and for the sake of everybody that's in here, in order to get a feel for what you said number-wise, but I'm not gonna raise my house up anyway, so, but what streets are involved in this? Okay, from Main, you got Main Street, Church Street, Otis Avenue, Princeville, Neville, that's where a lot of the water was, and then it jumped straight. So could you talk about streetwise?
Every street is eligible, even in Southern Terrace where you didn't flood. Southern Terrace is eligible. Southern Terrace didn't flood because of blockage in the drainage ditches. So everyone is eligible. So when you sign up, you still would have to come and find your addresses. If you posted everyone's address, I thought it was a security risk to have everybody around here looking at people's addresses, and you have identities that.
Not necessarily addresses, but street names.
Well, every street in Princeville.
Every street in Princeville.
Every street.
has to be elevated. It's
I'm,
not
I'm,
elevated.
I'm recommending that it is. Now, the board may not. The board may say, well, we approve the base flood elevations, but they're not gonna make everyone do that. So, but I'm advising you to do it because you were damaged. There means the doctors take it down. So I'm advising you to do that. But I was told by the town attorney that I cannot make you do the right thing. I can't make you do, I can't make you be safe. Even though I thought I could do something like a seatbelt law, same thing.
So,
I can't make
every
you
house
do
would have to say, if I wanted to elevate my house, where it, from what it is down, I think when they were cleaning out that house, they said it had to be 30-something inches or something for them to be able to go up under there and get the duct out, but if it was hard, it would be easier. So, what you said, 10 inches?
One has nothing to do with the other. They were talking
I
about.
know, I'm just saying
raising
that, but I'm
the-
asking you what number, I'm just saying what number, if I wanted to elevate the house, what
Yeah.
number?
If you went through the area where you lived, in your house, if you went through the area of where you lived, in
I'm
here.
not necessarily talking about my house, I'm not necessarily trying to get
The entire, let me say it again, the entire area is eligible. The entire eligible is eligible. What you would have to do is you'd have to find your address on here, and then you would look at how much you would have to elevate.
Mayor Johnson, Mayor Gladys Johnson, I think what Ms. Perkins